Kia refreshes their EV6 for 2025. Last time we had one on the channel was 2022 when it first came out. We put it head-to-head against the Ioniq 5. In this video, we'll go through the perks, quirks, and irks and touch on pricing and competition. Let's get out of the parking lot into the EV6 and take it for a drive. Let's start off with what's new for this refreshed 2025 Kia EV6. So first up, the battery's bigger. It's gone from 77.4 kilowatt hours, to 88. So a pretty big increase. And as such, you also get a little more range. So I'll break it down in the different trims. So the wind trim is up 14 kilometers of range for a total of 513, pretty good. And the land trim is up 21 kilometers of range to 475. And the land trim, again, with any of the three options, as far as packages go, it's the premium package, GT Line and GT Premium. That's up 29 kilometers for a total of 435. So pretty good on the range side. Back into the what else is new. You have the new lights, which is their star map. And like the Sorento and like the Sportage, it has that plenty of angles kind of look to it. And I like it. I think Kia's done a good job in separating themselves from not quite every other manufacturer, but for the majority of manufacturers, everything kind of has this similar look and feel to it. But Kia, as far as headlights go and because front-end design, it really stands out, and good job there. There's a new steering wheel design, still has the two-spoke feel to it, but the buttons are a little different. And there is no piano black, which is always a good thing, because somewhere that your fingers are always touching, piano black always catches those ridiculous fingerprints, makes it look just really messy. There's also a new bumper design, there are new wheel designs, and yes, I know the thing I should have led with, but I decided to wait for a bit, is the new NACS charging port. Now, you are given the adapter for the non-NACS, which is the not quite traditional one, but at least the one for the non-Tesla vehicles, and I think it's a great move right off the bat, because now you have access to all of the Tesla supercharging stations, and there are a lot of them out there. And I'm going to put this in the quirks. You know what? I want to say it right now. On Kia Canada's website, it does not say you have access to the Tesla superchargers. It just says you have access to thousands of fast chargers. So I don't know. It's a little weird. I get it. Also, another quirky thing that I'll just drop up here. Nowhere on the Kia Canada site for this vehicle does it say wireless Apple CarPlay, wireless Android Auto. It doesn't say it. And a little weird that it doesn't say Tesla, CarPlay, or Android Auto, but sorry, Tesla, Apple, or Android, but whatever. You get the over-the-air updates here, so less time spent in dealerships, and you still have the up to 350 kilowatt charging speeds, which means you can go from 10 to 80 in 20 minutes, so says Kia Canada, and you can go from 10 to 80 on a 50 kilowatt charge in 76 minutes, and power figures are still 320 horsepower, 446 pound-feet of torque. That's a good segue into the perks, and the first one up is this thing has an impressive driving feel to it, and not that it didn't before, but I've always liked the EV6's drive feel. It's low to the ground, and it's agile, and it's nimble, and obviously it's quick. However, not all EVs are quick, and wait for my review on the VinFast VF9, a little spoiler alert there. But back to the EV6 and the perks, it's everything an EV should be, right? It's, again, quick and agile and brisk and quiet, and it feels like a, I guess, quote-unquote traditional car, but it does a good job in bridging the gap. And I've had such a good time this week driving this around regular streets and highways and back roads, especially up by Caledon, where it's just so peaceful, and get some nice winding roads there. So the drive feel, drive quality scores extremely high here. Towing is now up to 2,700 pounds, which is up 500 pounds from the 2024 model. So if you want to go out and do stuff and things, and you're thinking, well, can an EV tow all that much? Well, yeah, the EV6 can. Cargo space is pretty good, 690 liters with those rear seats up, and 1,322 with those rear seats down. So again, on the functionality side, the EV6 scores quite nicely. Standard features, they're not too long, but they're the ones that matter. So being in Canada, a heated steering wheel and heated front seats matter to me. You get the wireless Apple CarPlay, wireless Android Auto. Now, wireless charging is absent only from the base trim, but it's on every other trim. So I'm not going to knock them for that. The base trim being the light rear wheel drive. I think they should have added it. Not a real big deal that they didn't, but having it on 5 of the 6 trims, pretty good move there. And there's lots of storage up front, whether it's in the door pocket or in the center console, and it just has this nice open concept feel to it. There's a big bin just beneath this gear selector / power console, so you put some takeout there, your purse, maybe a small backpack, or there's lots of space here, and I just love how there's this big open feeling to it, so you don't feel too closed in. On the Quirks side, and if you like this brown interior, you can get it on most of the exterior colors that you pick, but if you pick white or red for 2025, you cannot get this brown interior. It's such a strange move. I don't know why they wouldn't have made it available on every single exterior color, but on the builder page, it says the brown interior is not available with some exterior colors. You have a square-shaped center cap here, and it's not new for Kia. I believe the Sportage and the Sorento had it as well, but they're a little quirky because I guess not 10 times out of 10 anymore, 9 times out of 10, the center cap is round. The naming scheme here for their EVs is a little quirky. Okay, it's a lot of quirky, so just bear with me and hear me out on this. It's light at the bottom, wind in the middle, and land at the top. And here's how I remember it, or how I associate it. So light I see as coming from the sun, so that should be the top trim, and then wind is in the air, which is the middle trim, and land being, well, on the ground, should be the base trim, because you go top, middle, bottom, but Kia has flipped it. So the light trim is the base trim, even though I associate it light with being in the air. The wind is in the middle, and that stays in the middle. And their land trim, which is the lowest in my mind, as far as the, I want to make sure I get it right, as far as the light, wind, and land, even though it's at the bottom as far as, I guess, nature goes, it's their top trim. So a bit of a quirky thing there. On to the Irks side of things, and there's not too many. If you want a sunroof, you got to go with the 2 highest trims. This is the premium package of the land trim, so it's the 3rd out of 6. There's so many other cool things here that I feel a sunroof would have just been a really nice way to add to it. I feel it would open things up a lot more. And yes, I know I said the cabin feels open and wide, but that's just the cabin sitting up front. In the rear, it feels a little more closed in. There's still no rear wiper. Come on, Kia. Hyundai put one in because Hyundai realized, oh, we messed up. And yes, I know the rear glass is on a steeper angle on the Ioniq 5, and therefore more crap gets collected on that rear glass. And yes, I know that the angle is different here in the EV6, but come on, just put a rear wiper in. Because in Canada, we get snow and sleet and all sorts of crap throughout the winter months. Having a rear wiper would make a huge difference. The key fob is another Irk because it is so nicely shaped, but all of the buttons are on the perimeter, which means you've got to really be precise with what button you push to get the controls. And yes, there's the walk up, unlock, walk away lock feature here, but it's a big miss. And the last Irk is that there are no rear vents, and it's not a deal breaker, definitely a nice to have versus have to have. Let's run through pricing and competition. So here are your Canadian MSRP figures. For the light trim, it's going to come in at $48,995. The wind, which is in the middle, comes in at $55,995. And the top land trim comes in at $58,495. So a $10,000-ish difference. Now, with the land trim, there are 3 options for packages. What you have here is the premium package, and that comes in at $1,500. And the GT line trim comes in at an extra $3,000. And then there's a GT line premium, I believe, for $6,000. So pretty big range. And I think that this land trim, because it's got the all-wheel drive to it, it's got all this power and a pretty solid amount of range. Even with or without the premium package, it's still plenty of value. And I think that's the way I would go if I was looking at a Kia EV6. And yes, I would pick an exterior color that allowed me to get this brown interior. On the competition side, it's the usual suspects. So the Ioniq 5, the Mach-E, the ID4, Nissan Ariya, and the new Cadillac Optiq, because it's priced really close to this. Now, I've got the Optiq in, I believe, middle of September, and it's the kind of tail end of August right now. So a pretty interesting comparison. It'll be interesting to have a luxury brand compete with a mainstream brand in the EV segment for this specific part of the EV pie. That's going to wrap it up for the refreshed 2025 Kia EV6. Let me know if you have any questions. I'm more than happy to get you answers as soon as possible, and I'm always happy to engage in a respectful conversation online. I invite you to join the Modern Motoring social media platform, as we are on all of the major ones, and you know what's coming next. Without you, there is no Modern Motoring. So I thank you, I appreciate you, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video.